everybody, and welcome back to the Backlogs channel. It's been a while. I don't really have any good reason for that besides the fact that I was making so much content towards the end of making content around the beginning of January actually, and I was actually planning on making more content around that time than I had ever made previously. And I got to this point where I was making so much content that I just completely burnt out of it. And I've always loved the idea of making YouTube videos. It's probably one of the longest projects I've ever had that has just stayed consistent. I've been making YouTube videos since I was in like 7th or 8th grade. I'm now 2 years into college. That's about 7 years of my life, maybe 6. It's a long time, and I've committed myself to doing it for the most part without breaks up until January. And once I finally hit that point where I just realized I have free will, I don't need to make videos if I don't want to, but then I just stopped. And it was really hard to get out of that funk. I completely just lost all motivation to make videos anymore, whether it be on the main channel or this channel right here, the Backlogs that you're listening to this on right now. And I didn't really feel any ambition to make videos up until recently. I don't know what it was. Maybe just thinking back on kind of how I would schedule out my time differently when I would be making videos constantly. I never really truly had a schedule. I just kind of, whenever I had free time, I would just start making a video of some sort, and then I would just continue and keep going and make 4 or 5 videos a night, and just completely burn myself out. I'm either 0 or 100 on projects like making YouTube videos and just stuff in general, not just that, but everything. So I completely burn myself out of things to the point where I just don't want to do them anymore. So I stopped. Just completely, all at once, everything. Go from 100 to 0. And that's kind of what happened. And it's never really been this long where that 100 to 0 moment lasted for 4 months, 5 months. But it did. And that's just how it is. I mean, to be fair, there wasn't much to talk about Nintendo-wise. If I was going to pick any moment to kind of take this break, that I didn't even know if it was a break or I just was fully done with making YouTube videos at that point. If there was any point I was going to do that, it would have been January to around this time. Because, I mean, if you really think about it, not much is going on, at least Nintendo news-wise. Like, we'll talk about some stuff that's happened since I stopped making videos, and, you know, I've kept up with my goal of buying Switch 2 games the day they release. I'm trying to play through as much as each game as possible, and I've beaten a few. I have gotten to a point where I know I'm going to beat others, but I just haven't gotten around to it yet. And there's some games that I've picked up, I've played for 2 hours, and I'm never going to touch again. And, I mean, that's kind of like the good old days of the Backlogs channel. I'm looking at you, Hyrule Warriors Age of Imprisonment. I'm looking at you, Mario Kart World. I felt an urge to make a video. I didn't even know going into it what I was going to make the video on. kind of just, I didn't even think I was gonna talk about why I left. I mean, what does it matter? No one cares. People are probably just here for whatever title I put, and they probably already clicked away. But I don't know, I thought I'd just say what's been going on. I don't have a real good reason for leaving. Does it really even matter in the grand scheme of things? But I'm back. I can definitely say I want to start making stuff again. I'm going to try my hardest to not go so full hard on it. I'm going to try to maybe go 70, maybe 80, instead of 100% on it. I enjoy doing this. It's been one of the things I've wanted to do. I mean, if it were up to me, I would be sitting down every day, researching Nintendo news and playing Nintendo games and talking about it on the Backlogs channel, and within that, also scripting videos for the main channel as a job. I mean, if I got paid for this, I could go 100%, but I don't. And, it's really hard to balance doing this with other things in life. It's not impossible. I've done it in the past. But it's really hard to go 100% on this while having other commitments. So, enough rambling on about why I don't make videos anymore and why I might come back and start. Let's talk about what's happened since I've been gone. I'm going to talk more personally wise. I'm not going to talk about a whole bunch of Star Fox 64 being remade news. I'm not going to talk about just any announcements that have happened. Maybe I'll make another video. Has there even really been much? What is there to really talk about that isn't already out in game form already? Yeah, well, anyways, regardless, I pretty much just want to talk about what I've been doing, because I definitely still have been playing games, probably more now than when I was making videos on the Backlogs channel back in January, because just more stuff has been coming out, which is, it's kind of nice. I don't feel a need to push myself to play a game to get an opinion on it for a video. I can just sit down, enjoy a game, and know there's no pressure about it. It's how I've gotten up to 80 hours in Tomodachi Life. It's how I've gotten up to 55, 60 hours in Pokopia, and that one's still growing. I haven't even beaten that game yet. Because I've just had a chance to actually play these games and enjoy them, and have no pressure around playing them. I don't really have to focus too hard, which is nice. It's nice. So overall, there's been a lot of games that I've either bought and replayed or bought and played for the first time since I stopped making videos, or games that have come out that we were talking about coming out in a few months' time back in January. They're now out, and they've been out, but I never gave my opinions on them. And I made a promise that I'm going to talk about every single game that comes out exclusively for the Switch 2, first party wise. I'm going to buy them day one, and I'm going to give my opinion on them on this channel. We're going to speedrun all of them that I've missed. Going back all the way to Metroid Prime 4, I think that is the game that was the next one that was coming out at the time. I think maybe Mario Tennis Fever was one of those two. I can't remember. It's been so long. I'll just start with Metroid Prime 4. I can say this is one of the games I barely played. I was extremely hyped for it, as it was about to come out, because there was a part of me that was just happy about the idea of this game finally being released after all the time it was in development. getting restarted and all that. We've talked about this on the channel. I'm not going to talk too much about it, but I was excited about it coming out. Ultimately, once the game did come out, did not get great reception, which I don't usually care about. I mean, another thing we're going to talk about later is the Mario Galaxy movie came out a few months ago, maybe 2 months ago, 3 months ago, something like that. Did not get great reception, and I absolutely loved it. I think they did exactly what they needed to, and that's not what the mass majority of people said. So I just don't care about what the average majority of people say. It doesn't really affect my opinion on matters overall. It doesn't. But it is a good thing to reflect on. So, I mean, Metroid Prime 4, when it came out, just not great reception, right? But I still had hope. I was like, I've never fully put too much attention into Metroid Prime games. I've played 2D Metroids. I played a decent bit of Metroid Dread. I played and beat Super Metroid. I played a lot of the original Metroid. I like Metroid as a franchise. I love the idea of it. And I did play a bit of Metroid Prime Remastered on the Game Chat channel. Shout out that channel with DJ and Ethan. And I enjoyed it. I liked the idea of it. It was cool. I could definitely tell it wasn't my thing right away. It felt a bit basic, kind of like, it felt very early Halo vibes where you can very much look at it and say, hey, this game was great when it came out. But now, I mean, it's been done, but better in many other games. So it's kind of a slog to go back to these games and replay them. But you can still appreciate for their time how great they were and what they really accomplished. So I enjoyed it in that sense, but I gotta be honest. Campaign first person shooters never really been my thing. I try to enjoy them as a genre of video games. They're not my number one pick. So going in, I was excited because the idea of it. I wasn't super excited as it was getting to the launch day because I was just like, oh wait, maybe I'm really overhyping this in my mind considering I don't like this genre of video game. But I can say, I'm pretty sure I did talk about this on the channel. I feel like I remember talking. No, that's right. I did talk about my first impressions of Metroid Prime 4 on a video, but I never released it because that was just done at the point. So I filmed me reacting to Metroid Prime 4 and I'm pretty sure Kirby Air Riders, and those videos never came out. So I'll talk about it now. During that time when it first came out, I was super impressed with Metroid Prime 4. It looked amazing. It felt amazing. I even didn't mind the side character in Metroid Prime 4. I honestly didn't play much of the game past that first impression video that I made. I didn't think he was that annoying. I didn't think he was pushing you in the right direction too much. It didn't seem that bad to me. As I continued playing the game, he actually kind of left me alone in what I was doing. So maybe later in the game he really gets up your ass and stuff about what you're supposed to do. I just never really felt it myself. But it was a really good first impression until I kept getting to these points where I would go off path a little bit and I would just completely get lost. And if you don't get one small little detail thing somewhere, you pretty much have no indicator to find that little thing to progress you in the game besides just messing around with everything until something works, which is just part of those, those first-person shooter kind of puzzle games, kind of Metroidvania games. That's just how they are. That's the whole point of them. You're supposed to discover stuff. Not my thing. I got lost once or twice, and I would look around the map for 30 minutes to figure out what I missed along the way to progress the game further. and I just couldn't find it, and it didn't feel like it was worth my time. There was other things I wanted to play at the time, and I just stopped, and I never picked it back up. And at the time, I felt like I was missing out on something that was pretty good. But now, from what people say, the first part of the game, which is about what I got to, was the best part of the game, and it only gets worse and worse as you progress through the game. So I think I made the right call accidentally on that one, so I'm not too mad that I didn't finish it. First impression was really good. It just goes downhill from there. Very big disappointment. I can definitely say it's not what the Metroid Prime fans were looking for when wanting a new Metroid Prime, which sucks for them. But you know, there's always a chance they're saying they're rebooting the series. There's no reason they couldn't change up the formula, maybe bring it back to how Metroid Prime 1 was. They still have time to fix it. The series isn't completely dead from this one game being not the greatest. But yeah, there's not much more to say about Metroid Prime 4. It was alright. Just an iffy alright game. Kirby Air Riders also came out around the same time. I know I was giving this game a lot of hype as it was coming out, and we also played this game on the game chat, me, Ethan, and DJ. And for that reason alone, I have very fond memories of the game. I love Top Ride. I love the normal air ride mode, not as much. I think Top Ride was definitely my favorite mode, which that tells you something about my playstyle, especially for Kirby Air Ride. Again, just a very hyped game. As it was getting announced and getting closer and closer to the date, when it came out, a magical experience, unlocking all these new things, seeing all these new things that Sakurai made, feeling the passion and the joy that went into the project was very much appreciated. It was a really good first experience, and then I did everything, and then I was done. Again, like, these games aren't lasting for me. It's a very big trend I'm seeing. At least within this time, it was back to back to back games. It was like Age of Imprisonment. I played for a couple hours and it just didn't stick for me. I played Metroid Prime 4 for a couple hours and it just didn't stick to me. I played Kirby Air Riders and I was able to get maybe 15 hours out of the game. Really enjoying those 15 hours. But as I continued, I just got bored, and one day I made the conscious decision to stop playing it, and then I just never went back to it. Like, it sucks. It's a great game, but I'm never going to pick it back up, and that's unfortunate because it's one of those games that is meant to be picked back up multiple times throughout a generation. Again, good game, good execution, I would say. Not a bad game, just could not keep my attention on it for very long. I would recommend going and watching those Kirby Air Riders videos on the game chat. It's a good game. I would recommend it to people. If you like Mario Kart, and you want simpler controls, but a lot more action and a lot more bam, boom, pop stuff going on the whole time, then pick it up. It's fun. I can say it. It's fun. It's fun. Another game that I picked up recently, I replayed through the whole thing, and I just continue to appreciate this game more and more since it came out. Super Mario 3D World. I picked it up for the Switch for the first time. Every time I'd ever played it previously was the Wii U. The Switch version is definitely slightly better. It's the same game, ultimately. I've yet to get around to Bowser's Fury, though. I'm excited to see how it controls. I played it a little bit from my friend's account back in the day when the game came out. But I want to fully just play through it and experience it. I've heard it's a very good, short experience to work through. So I'm excited to eventually get around to that. But I can definitely report the quality of Mario 3D World still exists. The game has not gotten worse over time. It is not aged like milk. It is aged like wine. The game is great. Moving on, Pokemon Legends ZA also came out. There was a lot of talk about this one. I don't remember if I talked about this game, at least playing it. I might have. I think I did release a first impressions video, but at the time I had not beaten the game yet. And I can say this is one of the ones I beat. I beat 3D World again, and I beat Legends ZA. I really loved it. I like, this was another decisive game, and I didn't understand why. It's purely a great Pokemon game. The story is good, the characters are good. These are probably some of my favorite characters in the series up to this point. The streamer girl, one of my favorite Pokemon characters of all time. The one girl that's I think she's a dancer in the group of 4 main like people that stay at the hotel. She's a great character. AZ, I think his name is, the old guy at the counter. He's a great character. Just, it had a good cast of characters. The ending was great. The cinematics and the animation of the ending of the game, I'm not going to spoil, but it was pretty good. I really enjoyed it, and it really felt rewarding to beat the game. Yeah, I mean, people really didn't like the open city having nothing in it vibes, but I liked it. I've never been the type of person to feel a need to be in an open area in a game and just discover the parts of the openness that are boring. So, I mean, I like the idea of an open world because it feels more immersive, but overall, I don't mess around in them. I kind of just do what I'm supposed to. So that problem, I mean, I guess I see why it was a problem for some people, but for me, it ultimately really wasn't. I really did enjoy Pokemon Legends ZA from start to finish. It didn't feel like it was dragging too long. It felt like the story beats were natural, and day progressions to night progressions were natural, and being in the zones were completely natural, like going in and out of zones and catching Pokemon, and the real-time movement as you're in battles it all just felt so natural, and it felt like a really good Legends game. Like, it really did. It didn't have the craziest story in the world, but again, it's not a mainline Pokemon game. It's more of a collect-a-thon, less story, more collect Pokemon and battle Pokemon and all that stuff, which I think it delivered on completely fine and completely well. So, no complaints from me there. Overall, I really did enjoy the game. I did. I was never a Pokemon guy growing up. I just wasn't. I liked the idea of Pikachu. I liked playing Jigglypuff in Smash. Mewtwo always looked cool, but that's about it. Within recent years, though, maybe last 5 or 6, ever since Sword and Shield came out, which another game people really did not like, I loved it. Once was my favorite Pokemon game. Really got me into it. I don't think people realize that grow up with Pokemon how good the newer ones are for newer players in the franchise. It felt very welcoming, and it didn't feel overwhelming to play the new games. It didn't feel like I had to play the last 5 games to understand how to play this new Pokemon game. It just felt like its own new experience, which I really enjoyed. So, I mean, just the same with Legends ZA. I feel like I'm still, even though I've been playing all the games since Sword and Shield came out, and I've beaten Sword and Shield, I beat Legends Arceus, I played a decent bit of Scarlet and Violet, and now I've beaten Legends ZA. I feel like I've gotten to a point where I've played enough Pokemon to be like, yes, I am a Pokemon fan. I collect the cards. I have 2 binders full of the cards. I played a lot of Pokemon Go back in my day. I every so often boot up the TCG player app on my phone and I collect cards that way. I've played through the games as they came out. I played for the first time and beat the original Pokemon Gen 1. And I enjoyed it. Like, I feel like I'm at this point where I am playing Pokemon games and I'm a fan of the series as a franchise. I really do. I like the idea of it. It's very nice to get into a series so big and not feel intimidated by the massive amount of things that have already happened in it. I can definitely say collecting cards is something that is kind of scary to do in recent times, not only with scalping, but also if you sit down and talk to anybody who has ever collected Pokemon cards, they will talk to you about certain terms that most Pokemon card collectors know as if it's common fact and everybody were to know these facts. If you're collecting cards, you kind of gotta know what you're talking about. And people just seem to know what's up with them. It's either like you don't collect Pokemon cards, or you collect Pokemon cards and you know everything about what's expensive, what isn't, what's a good card, what's a bad card, what's an EX, what's a V-Star, what's a V, what's a full art, what's a shiny hollow. Like, all of these terms people just know. It's a little hard to get into the series in that way, I would say, for beginner people. Even for me, which I've been doing it for a while now, and I'm still confused on a lot of stuff. But the games themselves are very introductory to every new player, no matter which one you're starting with. So Legends EA definitely didn't let me down like it let other people down. I really enjoyed it, played it to the end. I can definitely say one of my favorite Switch 2 games so far, even though it's technically not a Switch 2 game. On the topic of Pokemon, I'd like to talk about a game that I did not think was gonna take over my life the way it did when it came out. That game is Pokemon Pokopia. I've played a decent bit now, probably 65 hours of it. That's probably going to be half of the amount of time I put into it by the time I finally end up setting it down for good, because there's just so much to do. I love a game where I can sit down, turn my brain off, and just do it. You know, like, I could just go and do it, and every single element of what I do in the game helps me. I can go in the third world, spoilers, there's this volcano that left ash all over the side of this mountain, and I felt like I wanted to just break all the ash with my bare hands and collect it and make the mountain clean and not full of ash. I did this before any other part of this world, and as I was going through the story, they have you clean up certain parts of the world from the ash. They have you clean it up during the story, and I was just breezing through the story because I already had the urge to just go and clean up the ash. I just felt like it. Same with the beach in World 2. I just felt a need to get all the mud down, or get all the mud off the ground, and get all the trash off the ground, and refix the paths between all the buildings, and fix some of the buildings before I even started any of the story in that part of the game. And I don't know how they do that. How do they, like, I'm doing chores. I'm reforming this map that is all broken for fun. I'm doing chores for fun. But ultimately, the game is so charming. It's exactly what I wanted. I can very easily say it's my favorite Pokemon game of all time by far. I think before I'd probably tell you the original Pokemon Snap for the N64 was my favorite Pokemon game, which funnily enough I'm going from one spin-off Pokemon game being my favorite to just the newest spin-off Pokemon game being my favorite. Don't know what that really says about me as a Pokemon fan. Pokemon Pokopia is such an experience to behold. It was one of the very first Switch 2 games to really hit the internet and just stick and become kind of this trendy game. Mario Kart World came out, and there was a few memes of people already finding shortcuts and crazy ways to use the tricks in midair to like find these crazy skips and stuff. But then other games came out, and they didn't really hit the media. But the very first game that really did that was Pokopia. Like, everybody was talking about wanting to get Pokopia. And this is really one of the first games that sets the Switch 2 apart from other consoles, especially the Switch 1, because all the way up until, Pokopia, you could play alternative versions of the games on Switch 2 and be completely fine. Mario Kart World, you could play Mario Kart 8 and be completely fine. Some might say it's a better experience overall, actually, Mario Kart 8. Kirby Air Riders came out, and, kind of just another racing game. It's unique enough, but it's not a reason to get a whole new console. And then Age of Imprisonment came out, just another Hyrule Warriors game. And then Mario Tennis Fever came out, just another Mario Tennis. So there was no real big reason besides Legend ZA, which, oh look, it was a Switch 1 game as well. They knew what they were doing because they knew people wanted to play the game, but they weren't willing to get a whole new console for a Legends game. So they cross-gened it. It was probably originally a Switch 1 game, and then they cross-gened it to Switch 2 because the console was already out at the time. Anyways, Pokopia was a Switch 2 exclusive, and it was really, it's a one-to-one experience. Like, there's no other game that's really like Pokopia in the way that Pokopia is like Pokopia. And it was really making people want to get a Switch 2 just to experience this one game. Kinda imagine, like, for the Wii, people really wanted to experience Wii Sports. It was like a high-ticket game, and people really wanted to play it, so people would buy an entire Wii just to play it. People bought a Nintendo DS just for Mario 64 DS and New Super Mario Bros. DS and Brain Age and these games that were exclusive to this console. It's what sold the units, the 3DS. Super Mario 3D Land. That game really sold the 3DS when it was struggling so bad. So I think Pokopia is the game that really is going to push the Switch 2 past anything that it was planning on doing to begin with. And for good reason. The game's great. If you didn't know, you play as Ditto in human form, which, it is a mix between Stardew Valley, Animal Crossing, and Minecraft almost, and Pokemon, obviously, because it's got all the Pokemon elements in it. And you play as Ditto, who is my favorite Pokemon of all time. So it was really a match made in heaven when I first saw the announcement for this game, which I have on my main channel. I was very hyped for this game, even when other people weren't really talking about it. It was just kind of like a side point in the direct or whatever it was announced in. I was hyped from the beginning, and I was looking closely at the game. I had a feeling there was going to be something special to it. Just, it was so different to anything we had ever seen before Pokemon-wise, and just Nintendo-wise, to be honest. It was such a left-field announcement. But overall, it all worked out. People really like Pokopia. It's one of the most sold games on the Switch 2 so far. Again, for good reason. I will sing praises to Pokemon Pokopia till the day I die. One of my favorite Switch 2 experiences. It's probably not going to be topped by much. Donkey Kong Bonanza, probably my favorite still, but Pokemon Pokopia is a very close second, I would say. But then also Mario Tennis Fever came out. I'm not going to talk much about this game. Mario Tennis Fever, it came out. It is fun. The idea of fever rackets is pretty cool. It does switch it up. But again, it is just a Mario Tennis game. If you played Mario Tennis Aces, if you played Mario Tennis Ultra Smash, you have basically played Mario Tennis Fever minus, those games are a little bit more boring. It's a very much every so often pick up the game, play it a little bit with somebody who's like, ooh, let's play that for like 10 minutes. And then you put it back down, and then you don't pick it up for another year or so. Which sucks, because it is a good game overall. There's a lot of single-player content, but, like, I don't know, man. I could go and play it, but will I? I don't want to be honest. Like, it's fine for whoever really wants it. It's a good enough experience. That's all I'm willing to really talk about it, so that just shows it's okay. It's not bad. I promise there's not pretty much any bad part of Mario Tennis Fever. It's just a Mario Tennis game, and that's really it. But I don't know if I talked about Mario Galaxy 1 and 2 when it came out as the bundle pack. I don't know when that really came out. Did they come out last year? I don't know. I don't remember. If I didn't talk about it, I'll talk about it briefly here. I love Mario Galaxy 1 and 2. I do. Mario Galaxy 1 is my favorite game. I would say Galaxy 2 is probably in my top 10, 15 games of all time. For a good reason. It's Mario Galaxy 1, but more. And there's not much to say about it, except we got completely fed with Mario Galaxy content within this last year. We also got the Mario Galaxy movie. I'd like to talk about this a little bit right here, right now. Whether you're willing to hear it or not, I'm going to talk about it anyway. I don't care if you guys are sick of the Mario Galaxy movie, but I'm not. I went and saw it twice in the theaters. I loved it. I can definitely agree with people saying Rosalina wasn't in it enough, but I don't understand the idea of people being like, the story wasn't full enough and the story didn't make sense, and why were we going from one story point to the other, to the other, to the other, to the other? Guys, this is a game based off the Mario series, a video game where the main character Mario doesn't talk. He goes from point to point to point to point in the game. That's how Mario games are played. Every single level is always different from the last. You go, especially in Mario Galaxy, which is what this movie is primarily set based on, with a little bit of looseness in there to get some extra references from other games in the movie. In the game, you go from one galaxy, Space Junk Galaxy, where you're in space and you're around a bunch of trash and platforms that move as you get near them. And then the next moment, you're in Gusty Garden Galaxy, which is this kind of like daytime, grassy, fielded, in the air, windy stage. And then the next moment, you're fighting Bowser in his castle with a bunch of lava and stuff. These galaxies are one after the other, and there's not a whole bunch of connection between each one. The whole point of it is that they're jumping from individual galaxies, or Mario in the game is jumping in between individual galaxies to, fight the people on that world and get the Power Star from their world, and then move on to the next one that's completely different from the last one to then get their Power Star from their world. The whole point of the game is that each galaxy is completely different from the last. Every planet is completely different from the last one you were just at. So, I don't get why people going into the Mario Galaxy movie based off the game where you go from planet to planet was expecting a super in-depth story where it all connects from galaxy to galaxy and planet to planet, and everything had to be in conjunction. And it's Mario. The whole point of a Mario movie is to reference the games, which if you don't remember or you don't play Mario games, there's not really stories in Mario games. The story is Peach gets kidnapped, Bowser goes and steals her, and you gotta get her back. That's usually the story of the games. I mean, is that what you want in the movie? You want an in-depth story of Peach getting captured and what Bowser is doing with Peach in the castle and Mario devising this plan? And I mean, like, what do people actually really want? I will say this. There's more story in this movie than story in any other Mario game that I can think of. There's more story in this Mario movie, the first one, and now the Mario Galaxy movie, than any Mario game ever in history. And quite frankly, the amount of story that we're getting feels a little wrong because Mario doesn't follow a story. He just goes and completes levels that are completely separated from each other. Like, that's just how the Mario franchise works. I don't really know what people want from the Galaxy movie. I thought it was really good. I thought Rosalina was in it as much as she should have been. And if you remember, in the game, you don't play as Rosalina. She doesn't go through the levels, and she doesn't do the stuff in the game. Mario does. Rosalina's just the person that's asking you for help. So, the fact that she's not in it so much, which she kinda is, the entire first scene is her, with her Lumas, and then, you know, the whole ending scene is with her and Peach, and there's a whole bunch of individual scenes in the middle of her young with Peach being her sister, which is, I think, plenty enough. And that's all I'm really willing to talk about when it comes to the Mario movie, or at least the Mario Galaxy movie. Ultimately, I thought it was good. Personally. Sue me. I don't care. Whatever. I don't care what you say. I think it was a really good movie. And I think they touched on points that they needed to. And they didn't touch on points that they really didn't need to. So, that leaves just a few more things to talk about. Real quick, I want to talk about Resident Evil 9, specifically the Generation Pack that came out. So if you didn't know, the Switch 2 got the new Resident Evil 9 Requiem, which I can't say the name very well for some reason, with Resident Evil 9 coming out, and it coming out the same year as the 30th anniversary of Resident Evil as a series. Nintendo specifically, no other consoles got this, but Nintendo specifically got this generation pack of Resident Evil games, which included the new Resident Evil 9 Requiem, which just came out for $70, but it also included Resident Evil 7 and 8 alongside Requiem. And the whole pack altogether was only $90, which was $20 more than Requiem by itself, the new Resident Evil game. I don't know why Nintendo got so much liberty with Resident Evil for this anniversary. Resident Evil, they got a Resident Evil Pro controller. There was Resident Evil, I'm pretty sure, amiibos that came out, and the Generation Pack only came out for the Switch 2. It's kind of crazy. Why are we getting these crazy things that would normally go to PlayStation? Like, PlayStation fans are losing out because Nintendo's actually doing good profits now. It's kind of weird. And it's also weird to know that our console is basically at the point where new releases of very big and very nice looking franchises are able to cross-release with our Nintendo console alongside the PS5 and the Series X and PC. It's pretty cool. It feels like we finally caught up to the people of every other generation. We've always been behind. The Switch 1 was very much behind, but the Switch 2, although, I mean, it's still a handheld, and when you have it in handheld mode, it's definitely not as powerful as a PS5, and neither is it on TV. It's pretty much there. Like, it's there where it needs to be. And Resident Evil 9 looks really good on it. Like, I've been playing through it, and I've really been enjoying it, just the way it looks, and it's so fluid, and I'm not really getting any frame drops or nothing like that. It feels like I'm playing a PS5 game on my Switch 2. Like, there was moments where I was playing through the game, and I was fully thinking I was playing a PlayStation game just because that's what naturally my mind thinks of. Like, if I see a game that's looking that realistic and nice, I'm expecting it to be on my PS5 that I'm playing it on. So I'd look down and I'd see myself holding the Switch 2 controller, and I'd just kind of be like, oh yeah, Nintendo can do this now. Like, that's pretty crazy. It's a real good time to be a Nintendo fan, I tell you what. It was not during the Wii U, even though I really was pushing through on that Wii U generation. It's just only been getting better since the Switch 1's release. There's two more things I want to talk about. I'll talk about Tomodachi Life next, because I know I said Donkey Kong Bonanza and Pokopia were my favorite experiences on the Switch 2 so far, probably. When I said that, I meant it. I didn't mean it. But Tomodachi Life has completely taken over my life. I knew the moment it got released, that it got announced, that it was going to completely take over my life when it got released. I just didn't expect it to do it the way that it has. I was always a huge fan of Tomodachi Life for the 3DS. So seeing that a new Tomodachi Life was going to come out for the Switch 1, for some reason, not the Switch 2, but whatever, it doesn't matter. It's just, I knew instantly that it was going to be one of my most played games, and I couldn't predict how right I was. The customizability of Tomodachi Life Living the Dream is beyond anything that the 3DS version ever did. It is greatly appreciated for sure, and I don't really know what to say about it that hasn't been said. It's just, I can definitely say this. When I was talking about Pokopia, one of the main points I was talking about was it was a cultural phenomenon, basically. It came out and just everybody wanted to get a Switch 2 for it. Tomodachi Life was that times 2, and then times 2 on top of that. For some reason, Tomodachi Life has resonated with people so hard. Just because, I mean, if you really think about it, Tomodachi Life can appeal to any fan base. It's just a customizability kind of sandbox. It's The Sims meets way more options and Mii's, which are way more customizable characters. So you can pretty much roleplay whatever you want. And there's so much customizability between the way they can say, the certain things they can say, and the items you can give, and the food you can feed them, and the way you can dress them, and the way you can interact each Mii with each other, and the way they can fall in love and have babies or divorce, or they could be friends, or they could be mad at each other, or they could go play on a sprinkler. They could just run around a sprinkler of their own free will. It's great. And then on top of that, you add a way to be able to completely customize the way your island looks. So you can make things like, you can put Aaron, Mikasa, and Armin behind a bunch of walls, and they're behind Wall Maria, while all the other Miis are on the island, and they'll never see them because they're secluded. And then you could make the walls customizably look like Titans, or, you know, just like, that's just one thing that came to my head in this moment, and you couldn't do that in the old Tomodachi Life. And the main thing that they definitely changed for this one was they gave you the palette house, which is probably the biggest improvement, where you can draw your own foods, you can draw your own items, you can draw your own pieces of land that you can customize like the entire land with, so on and so forth. You can customize the houses. Every Mii has their own house, or they can move in together. Like, I'm just listing things over and over, like more and more things, because this game is so huge, so massive. Truly, it's just like, a perfect sandbox game. It just really is. Very shareable. And I think that's very much something Nintendo's going for this generation. They love to see people talk about their games. And people are definitely doing that with Pokopia, with, Legends EA, maybe not in the greatest light, but definitely some Legends EA was talked about. And overall, surprisingly, out of all games that have released, Tomodachi Life, Living the Dream is definitely the most popular game, I would say, culturally, for the Switch 2 so far. And it's not even just for the Switch 2. It came out as a Switch 1 game. But ultimately, I love Tomodachi Life. I don't know if I could honorarily say it's better than Donkey Kong Bonanza, because that game changed me in ways I didn't think Switch 2 games could do. And it came out more like a month after the Switch 2 came out. But I really love Tomodachi Life. I'm still playing it. I'm up to like 95 hours in the game. And I haven't even gotten the amount of the most amount of Miis I can put on the island. I'm not even finished making Miis. I just love it. Great game. I would recommend to literally anyone. Literally anyone could enjoy Tomodachi Life, I think. But with that leaves the final thing, which as of recording this, it is the 21st of May, which means the new Yoshi game just came out. $70. Don't know how to feel about that price tag. I don't think it's worth it. Variable pricing is something that Nintendo is doing this generation, where they're making some games worth a certain amount of money, like Rhythm Heaven is going to be releasing at $40, I think, on launch. But the new Yoshi game that just came out is $70. And I would argue that Yoshi is not worth $70, but beyond that. I played a little bit of it, maybe an hour, maybe 2 hours, something like that. And I've greatly enjoyed my time with it so far. Way beyond what I thought. It is a little scary to say that, because ultimately first impressions are very important. And whenever I have first impressions, even when it came to Age of Imprisonment, I was impressed. And it was something I didn't expect going into it. I've pretty much felt that for every Switch 2 game, which is definitely a good thing. I'm sure I'll talk about this game more in a separate video at some point, maybe. But overall, right now, I can say the game is good. It's really good. I've played through about the first chapter of it. It's not like your average Yoshi game. You can't die. And it's pretty much you go around and you discover how these certain critters work around the world. And it's a very clever game, I'd say. And it's a very cozy and cute game. I really enjoy the creatures and the little critters in the game and the way that they interact with the world. And I love it. I really am enjoying it. But there's not much more to say because I've barely played the game. I'm sure I'll talk about it later, though. And with that, I think I've pretty much talked about everything but Star Fox. I think I'm going to wait for a separate video to talk about Star Fox, because it's such a unique and weird situation that's happening with it. But look forward to another Backlogs video coming soon, where I talk about the new Star Fox remake and my thoughts on it, and why Falco's legs look the way they do. I just went on for over an hour talking straight into my mic, looking at a blank wall, and I can honestly say I definitely missed it. I like to give my opinion on video games. I think I give most games that I play, if not all of them, a good fair chance. I will never judge a game until I fully play it and I fully know my opinion on it. So I like to give these opinions, whether it be for whoever's listening to the videos or me later. There's been times where I'm like, how did I feel about Donkey Kong Bonanza when it first came out? I'm gonna go back and see how I felt in video form, and then I'll remember things that I felt and think back on those fond memories just by listening to my own first impressions opinion about the game. I will be back. I will definitely be making backlog videos, and I don't have anything planned, but secretly I've been cooking up some ideas for the main channel, and I am excited to possibly look into doing some of those things when I get a chance. So look forward to that. Some sort of return on the main channel. Multiple things going on in my mind, all very different from each other when it comes to ideas for the main channel, which very much lost its identity over the years. But yeah, look forward to that. And overall, thank you everybody so much for watching. I will see you guys in the next Backlogs video, and bye bye.